Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of First Kiss Podcast Season 2. My name is Ali Bin Amr. I'm the team captain and 3D designer of Team Tunisia. And in this episode, we're going to talk about 3D designing. And for that, we are going to invite our dear guest, Mahdi Fakhfakh, who is a 2017 First Global Challenge alumni. So, hello, Mahdi.
Hi Ala, hi everybody.
How are you
Honored to be
doing?
here. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So, Mehdi, people are probably wondering, why are we having this meeting online instead of an offline one, like a physical one where we are here in the club together?
Well, it's rather fitting that it's a virtual meeting since this year's competition is virtual too. But due to the the pandemic itself and the health restrictions, I couldn't be unfortunately present in person in the association for a real face-to-face interview. So we had to settle for a more virtual interview, and hopefully this works out pretty well too.
We hope that, of course. So, good thing, Mehdi. Stay safe. That's like
We're all trying to
our.
stay safe.
Yeah. Okay, so Mehdi, your experience in 3D designing, or let's say designing in general, it's not just 3D, it's a bit more than that. For example, you have like a good amount of experience in graphic designing. So what can you tell us about it and like how it started and escalated with time until this very moment, and probably how First Global Change affected your experience and your skills in this field?
Well, I hope you have enough time for this. It's a real long story, so I'll try to keep it short. My story with design in general started back in 2010. So I remember having first internet in December 2009, and in the summer of 2010, I already like dove deep into uh, forums, and one of the forums I remember put in a lot of time in was a very famous design and coding Middle East and North Africa forum. Um, it was pretty active, and like around 10,000 people were daily visiting this website, and I just visited it regularly to learn and to provide free design products. So first of all, I started learning from people there, and then I started working for them. And eventually, my love for design and graphic design evolved, and I just kept it going and kept it as a passion. And then, back in 2017, the story with First Global started. We already have been working a little bit on 3D design, and I just found it fitting for myself, and I'm pretty interested in the design side of the world, and especially 3D design grabbed my attention since it uses a lot of imagination and creativity, and I fell in love instantly with it. And seeing that we back in 2017, the first global challenge that the Tunisian team needed a 3D designer, um, and I was already a member. We were splitting the tasks, and I just fit in right in there as a 3D designer, and yeah, the story never stopped from there.
So we are talking about an 11 years old experience. Like it dates a while ago. It would be like when you were 9 years old, I guess. That's some really
Yeah,
impressive stuff. So
yeah, 11
uh,
years of graphic design and
yeah,
5 years of, yeah, 5 years of 3D design and modeling.
okay. And which one do you prefer the most?
Oof, that's a real tough question. Uh, well, if we're talking about a career-based choice, I think I'd rather say 3D design would be a better choice as like a career, since it has a lot more comfort there for me. Graphic design requires a lot of patience and a lot of it's art, so it's more on the art side and it's more opinion based, and I don't think I can take that as a career. I'd rather keep it as a passion for my own time, and I'd rather pick 3D design as a full on career.
Okay, good point, Mehdi. Actually, like I really appreciate you sharing this with our dear audience. And now we can
شكرا.
move on to the next part, in which we are still talking about 3D designing, but we're more exploring how first global challenge as a competition affected your skills, and in consequence the way you impacted next generations and people after you, and like team members, first global challenge team members that came after you as well.
Hmm. Well, being picked as a member of the first Global Challenge Tunisian team back in 2017, we split ourselves into various different tasks: robot building, programming, coding, and 3D design. And as I previously said, I took on the 3D design task, and I took on my back then pretty mediocre computer, and I tried my best designing our robot. I succeeded at doing so, and I was just always sat next to our robot building team, and each part they would build, I would recreate it virtually. We managed to build the entire robot, well, except for the screws, because they were that was too much detail for my computer back then. Yeah, it was pretty satisfying to click on the timeline and see the animation of myself building the entire robot step by step. And we always knew that 3D design would be a huge part of every national team, so I continued to help and encourage other members of the future teams to take on the 3D design task. I remember back in 2018, we made a little camp inside our association, and we worked together on building the stadium that our robot would play in, and we animated our robot playing inside it, so we would take on more of a simulation in a virtual world side of things. Um, and yeah, we always I always find it very important to keep on encouraging members of our national team and other teams for that sake, to always keep working on the 3D design world, since it's very crucial for every single team to shine, because every team has the technical side of things, where like those the robot building experts would uh, go in and work straight with hands, but the other side of things, where we would virtually create our robot and test things before we can um, put it together in real life, is very important, since we would predict things and save time and effort that way. And it's very fitting too that this year's virtual competition uh, has a lot of parts where we will be needing 3D design, since, as I already said, it's virtual and nothing works better than creating the stuff on a 3D design software.
So true, Mehdi, actually, especially when we are talking about the next or the challenges that we will have, the technical ones. In this case, they are the CubeSat challenge. The CubeSat is kind of a cubic-looking satellite that is supposed to be launched into the orbit of the Earth. We are still waiting for more details about this challenge. So yeah, but what we know so far is that we will be provided by an Arduino kit, and that's basically it. So this lets us think that the outside body will likely be made by us, and that's where 3D designing comes in.
Yeah, 3D printing is very crucial too, since, as you said, some parts we would just simply print using our 3D printer to save material, and sometimes it's way easier to just design something apart in the CubeSat or the entire CubeSat itself and print it, which would uh, and also prototyping is very important too for our national team. So trying different mechanisms virtually and printing smaller prototypes of different robot parts, it plays a huge role in our teams.
Okay, so like that was basically what we were thinking about, especially like while waiting for the details to come out. We won't just like stand still. We will like start brainstorming, start having ideas about how will the cube set be like, how will it look, how will it function, the assembling inside, and so on and so forth. And of course, something like the 3D printing can be done. And yeah, so it is basically now us working on it, trying different stuff, trying different ideas, and eventually we hope that everything will end up well. So Mahdi, now like enough of 3D, we can like move to another thing, which is in this case your experience overall in the first global challenge, and the fact that you went to the first edition, which was in 2017 in Washington DC. So I'd like to ask you what you think of Washington DC, and do you think that a place such as Tunisia can have the same opportunity?
Well, let me try to answer this question, this long question, as to the best of my abilities. First of all, my experience in First Global. Well, I remember now. It's 4 years ago, and I remember as I was finishing up a day in First Skills, and I was heading out. Our mentors, Mr. Rabah and Mrs. Fitton, called me back, and my friend, and they informed us about this competition. And at first, it seemed a little bit far fetched and a little bit too difficult, but we managed to form a team and started working really hard, and we had a lot of help. And we thank everybody, of course, everybody who always volunteers to help any national team is much appreciated. And yeah, it all felt more real when we flew, and making that trip halfway across the world and across the Atlantic. It was very surreal. Washington DC was a blast. The city is very amazing, and a lot of green spaces and a lot of amazing places there you can visit. A lot of monuments. It was the inaugural edition of First Global, and since it's a competition that started in the United States, it was only fitting that it would start. The first edition would be in the capital of the United States, and Washington D.C. was a great choice there. We stayed in the American University campus. We met a lot of people. It was just amazing in the Constitution Hall. Just one step would take you from a continent to another. It was brilliant. We made a lot of friends. I remember telling my team that we had to start a conversation with every single team, like just go straight up and say hi and what are you doing, how are you, what are your opinions about this part of the game and stuff, and trying to strike up conversations with different teams, and it was a really amazing experience. Some of the friends we made there flew back later to Tunisia, and they visited us during our summer camps. Lizzie and Paris, we are still connecting with them. We are still really good friends. About whether it could be hosted in Tunisia, that would be a dream. Um, we would need a lot of work now to host such a huge event, since we will be if it would be real and face to face, not virtual, then hosting it in Tunisia would be an honor, and we would need a little bit of work to organize the inviting system of people from 180 countries and hosting them, and the venue where the event would work. And yeah, it's a huge opportunity if we were given it, and I'm sure we would definitely take on the challenge and host a pretty decent event.
So you see here, like we are talking about the aftermath of First Global. We are talking about how, like, 4 years of experience, like since you did actually participate in the competition, they actually had that impact on you. And now you being an advisor or more like someone who helps, you see, it's just think about sharing positivity and sharing encouragement, like good. Good doings that can be shared over and over from an individual to another. So yeah, it's like a really good thing, and I'm really proud of you, and I encourage you to keep doing that.
Yeah, pretty fortunate to be one of the Global STEM Core advisor teams. Myself and two of my friends, Omar Qassis and Tijani Khalil, we make up a an advisor team, and we were always happy to volunteer and help first in any way, shape, or possible. We volunteered as an advising team, and we are trying to help both the Tunisian team and Team Yemen during this edition of the competition, and it's been really fun getting to know the Yemeni team and helping them with different tasks, whether it be technical or non-technical. We're always happy to help any team that be an Arabic team or a European one, American one. We're always happy to help our friends from all over the world. Because the aim of the competition is to make the world that one step closer to each other through technology, and we're always happy to do so.
So you see here, like we are talking about the aftermath of First Global. We are talking about how, like, 4 years of experience, like since you did actually participate in the competition, they actually had that impact on you. And now you being an advisor or more like someone who helps, you see, it's just think about sharing positivity and sharing encouragement, like good. Good doings that can be shared over and over from an individual to another. So yeah, it's like a really good thing, and I'm really proud of you, and I encourage you to keep doing that.
Yeah, it's as I said, it's a real pride for us, for myself and for my friends who I'm sure anybody who would have been in our position would always volunteer to help, whether it be, as I said, Tunisian team or other teams. We would have loved to participate as members, but we are not allowed since we are prior members. So we were just looking for any way we can help, and we also managed to become to be accepted as first global judges too. So it's an honor for us to put in any effort we can to help this huge project.
So great work, Mehdi. Actually, like, congratulations. I'm really proud for you. This, like, what you made so far is really, really great honor, and it's so amazing to see that members from the First Case Club can get one day to such positions doing such great work. So yeah, I mean, like, this is pretty much the end of this podcast. It's been an honor to me to actually host you today, and an honor
Thank you.
for me to, like, you being my guest, of course. And I really appreciate it. I'm really happy for it, and
Thank you
I'm
for
so
hosting me.
grateful.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.